Hello, everyone. It's an honor for all our team to meet you again in the new year. We hope you, your families, and friends are well and healthy. My name is Paweł Kaczyński, and I'm happy to invite you to Digital First for Finance again. If you missed our previous webinars, feel free to go to our registration page and download, check, and see previous recordings. Because today we are continuing and actually finishing IFRS 17 topic. So let me open the first in 2021 and the third overall episode from Digital First for Finance series. Today, we are proud to present you a very exceptional webinar. There will be no presentations, no demos. We bring to you our clients with their own stories. We believe this is the best and the most powerful method to share the experience we gained all together. Today's webinar will be hosted by my great colleagues from UI Italy, UI Greece, and our partners from MSG. They will drive the discussion with the client they are working with. Our dear guests represent different countries and different scale, worldwide companies and smaller local business. All of them have their own stories, which you have a possibility to hear today. So I hand over to Mario and our first customer story.
Okay, thank you, Pavel, for handing over to me. My name is Mario Gabriele. I'm associate partner of EY Technology Consulting. And I have the pleasure today to have here with us and to join us Giuseppe Zacco, which is representing Generali. So Giuseppe, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Mario. Thanks a lot. Actually, my name is Giuseppe Zacco, and nowadays I'm leading the implementation team of SAP solutions for the IFRS 17 project at group level for Assicurazioni Generali. As regards my work experience, actually I joined SAP Italy in early '98, long ago. At that time, Assicurazioni Generali had both SAP FSCD, the collection and disbursement subledger system of SAP, and my task was bringing requirements to development team in Germany. I spent a couple of years in Germany, and then I came back to Italy. I took part in the FSCD implementation project at that point in time at INAS Italia in Rome. In 2003, the FSCD implementation project at Assicurazioni Generali started. And at that time, I used to go back and forth from Italy to Germany to refine requirements, agree solutions with the implementation team, and verify developments. Finally, in 2006, I joined Generali Group. And in 2007, I started leading the FSCD Competence Center after the go-live we had. In 2018, I started cooperating with the head office colleagues on the IFRS 17 project. And once project started in 2019, they appointed me as the implementation leader of SAP solutions for the IFRS 17 project. Later in May 2020, I joined the Assicurazioni Generali head office. And nowadays, I'm leading the project for Assicurazioni Generali Group.
Thank you very much, Giuseppe, for the introduction. So let's talk a bit about the implementation of the IFRS 17 project. So maybe you could tell us how long it took in your company, and what were the phases or the sub-projects that you had to run?
Yes. So basically, the implementation project started in April 2019. And we are planning nowadays, of course, to fulfill the IFRS 17 effective date, that is January 1st, 2023. In April, so this is the overall time frame of the project. Concerning different steps of the implementation project, actually, in April 2019, we started with the initial talks I had with both SAP, the PMO team, and the implementation team. And during these talks, we finalized the organizational chart of the project. We drew the master plan, we set milestones, and we agreed the implementation approach. Basically, this implementation approach was using an agile approach through developing use cases with incremental level of complexity. This was the basis of our implementation project. The master plan was initially drawn, actually taking into consideration the assumption we would go live in January, on January the 1st, 22, with a parallel phase in 21, while actually in light of the 1-year postponement of the effective date, over the time we changed the plan and added an extra year, which was indeed very helpful in the overall implementation. If we go back to April 2019, parallel to those initial internal talks we organized a series of meetings with our countries because, Generali Group is a little widespread over the globe. So we had to go and talk to our business units. And we introduced to them both the master plan we were shaping at that point in time and the connected milestones, the SAP solutions we were planning to implement, the implementation approach we wanted to use, and the involvement we figured at that point in time for business units. As I said, implementation phase considers the usage of so-called use cases. But prior to start with use cases, implementation team ran a series of so-called scoping workshops, through which they showed us the fundamentals of the PSR solution for us to be somehow inspired, driven by the standard solution while shaping the software. So we completed the first implementation phase with a precise focus on direct business at end March 2020. This was our first and major milestone. After which we started the first user acceptance test phase with the so-called pilot business units. And we ended this user acceptance test phase at early June 2020. In parallel with the implementation, we organized the so-called data load trial phase. This was an additional phase of the project we thought of, through which we taught business units to prepare interfaces to SAP, depending on how we were customizing the system. In July 2020, we took part in the acceptance phase of the latest release of SAP. Our goal was to understand in advance the behavior of the software in order to secure smooth upgrade at end August 2020. When the release would be available for customers. After upgrading software, we started the second implementation phase, which is still running in these days, and whose major focus is on direct business measured under the VFA measurement model and the reinsurance business. In parallel with this second phase of the implementation, we organized the end-to-end test phase with business units, which considers 3 different ways with an increasing level of complexity. Wave 0 considers a PSL only, whose content was the first release dating back to March 2020, while other ways also considers our central known live actuarial platform as well as local general ledger systems. While arranging end-to-end test phase, different waves, we also started working on dry run strategy, whose contents considers also in this case 3 different ways of dry run. Also in this case, with increasing level of complexity and scope, meant to guarantee a smooth transition phase in 2022. So basically 2021, this year, for us is the year of the dry run waves. So crucial to guarantee the go live.
Okay, That's very interesting and complete overview of the project. Thanks. About people and companies which were involved in the SAP implementation, especially for FPSL and the other SAP modules, what can you tell us in terms of modules of SAP which were implemented and which maybe companies have collaborated for the implementation phase of SAP?
In terms of companies and skills, in such a critical and innovative project, you cannot do without adopting a multidisciplinary approach in terms of skills and making use of people with strong experiences on international projects. As I said, we are a multinational group with companies widespread over the globe. So on one hand, basically IFRS 17 brings with it the need to let people cooperate and bring their own experiences from a functional point of view. So in our case, and from a business point of view, both accountants, actuaries, and IT experts are actually part of a single team, and each of them bring their experience during the discussions we have on a daily basis to run the project from a functional point of view. From a more general point of view, instead, if we consider our case, again, a big group, which has to implement IFRS 17 in a global context. What we need is people able to act skillfully while organizing activities in an international environment. So we need people experienced enough in cooperating in such a widespread environment, experience on how to interact with business units with different needs, different specificities in such a huge change management, let's say, project.
Okay, thank you. And just going to our conclusion of this interview, what is, on your point of view, I mean, beside the extension of the data model that you had to act in the project, what is the information, that kind of information that you had to add it, and how you ended up also with the reporting, what kinds of tools and system you develop in that project specifically?
Basically, we yes, concerning data model, we actually we entered additional dimensions in the standard. As a premise, while implementing FPSL, we chose the so-called simplified data model, which means not using single contracts and assigning instead actual transaction to actuarial portfolios directly. In this context, in the first phase of the implementation, at the level of actuarial portfolio, we defined specific fields, testing to hold those dimensions which are relevant for our consolidation system. In the second phase, we added some extra fields that our business units asked for, in some cases at the level of the actuarial portfolio, thus being inherited by both actuals and cash flows, while in other cases at the level of the actual transactions only. This is basically the choice we took during the implementation phase. As regards instead the reporting tool and the reporting we implemented during the project. So far, we've implemented some so-called operational reports with a view on the IFRS 17 balance sheet and P&L, as well as with the chance for users to have a view on selected sets of subledger documents in the FPSL solution. We have done it through SAC from the SAP software. We are also developing some dashboards able to show the results of our financial impact analysis. That will be the basis of a second phase of development, when we will prepare reports for top management. But this will happen later this year, once we finish some other, the pure and core functionalities inside of the subledger system.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Giuseppe, for joining us. It was a pleasure having you to this webcast. Hope to see you again. And now I will hand over to my colleague Luca for the next interview.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, Mario. Hello, everyone. This is Luca Mosconi. I'm a senior manager of EY FSO in Italy. I work mostly on IFRS 17 project for insurance companies. Here with me, we have Massimo Pezzuto. Please, Massimo, if you want to briefly introduce yourself. Thanks.
Hi, good morning. It's Massimo Pezzuto. I'm head of infrastructure, security, and architecture at Eurovita. That is a leading company in the insurance life market in Italy. I joined Eurovita about 5 years ago, and since then, after the entrance of the new shareholder, the company went through a series of M&A projects that had a significant impact on our organization and IT landscape as well. Regarding IFRS project, I was part of the project since the initiation phase, and currently I'm the lead of the IT implementation stream.
Okay, Massimo, let's talk a little bit of the project. So first of all, which are the main reasons in the selection of SAP to support the IFRS 17 project and process?
FPSL was selected as a result of a long process, selection process, which involved all the company, of course, and in particular the CFO and IT teams. Several options were on the table, and FPSL was evaluated as the best fit with our functional and general requirements in terms of business and IT in particular. And it is considered as the solution with a good alignment with the overall financial landscape. Those are the reasons why we, as a company, decided to go with the FPSL, and at the moment the implementation of the project is underway.
Okay, let's talk a little bit on the organization. So, in terms of the different areas, where you define to have an external support, and which are the areas that you decided to manage in-house?
Yeah, regarding the IFRS 17 principle and in particular FPSL technology, at the beginning of the project, Eurovita started with low in-house functional IT expertise on functionality and technology. So the decision to get external support on those areas was necessary at that moment. Sub-platform in general is internally managed with the internal people and some support from external project team.
Okay. And in terms of time frame for the project, the implementation project, how long does it take the whole project? Which are the sub phases? Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah, the project is quite a long project since it started in early 2020. And it will last until the end of 2022. We plan to go live complying with the regulatory requirements at the beginning of 2023. The project kickoff was, as I said, at the beginning last February in 2020. We currently are in the implementation phase. From an IT standpoint, the overall reference architecture has been designed since a couple of months. We entered the implementation phase with the setup of UAT development and UAT environments. In 2022 is planned, a dry run is planned to start in April and complete by the end of the year. The go live is, as I said, is planned at the beginning of 2023.
Okay, and in terms of people involved in the project, what is the combination of skill that you put in place to face this kind of implementation project?
Several skills and profiles are involved in the project, as you can imagine. Mainly on the business end, we have accounting, actuarial, pricing and reserving, and on the IT side, we have multifunctional IT personnel involved. Internal IT staff are mainly involved in general infrastructure, SAP system, as a basis administrator and data management team. We leverage internal knowledge in terms of expertise on the source system data models in particular, and data integration. They are currently dedicated to implement standard data feeds into the IFRS FPSL content environments.
Okay. Now let's go a little bit more deeper into the implementation part, no? In terms of challenges that you face so far for the implementation, which are the top ones?
The project is quite complex. Is a combination of skills. There are many dependencies with other underway project that involved SAP platform, but not only. So one of the challenges that we have to face is in particular strict coordination between several streams and projects. In particular, as I said, since we come from a long series of M&A processes during last year. In particular, one of these is currently underway on general ledger in particular. The second one was the general ledger conversion to S/4HANA. That, of course, is a precondition for FPSL implementation. And as you can imagine, they do need integrated governance and strict coordination between plans and teams. From an architecture standpoint, another challenge that we have to face was a complete redesign of the overall data architecture to support IFRS project. And of course, a robust data preparation, data quality process according to the requirements that are coming from the project.
Okay, and remaining on the issue part, no, and the main challenges, the part of the data collection, how do you plan to manage the part for the ingestion, the sourcing of data to the subledger system? Do you use something already present or you develop something new?
Yes, we have to integrate several source systems to support IFRS principle. Several policy portfolio management systems that are the main source to the FPSL content. So we decided to leverage a capability that we have in our architecture, that is a centralized data layer, data warehouse, to decouple data flows from source systems to FPSL. And then we decided to design and implement a brand new instance of BW for HANA to support specifically IFRS process.
Okay, thank you, Massimo. Thank you for answering the question. I really want to thank you for your presence and your contribution. So now I leave the floor to Demosthenes for continuing the interview.
You are very welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Demosthenes Tsoukalas and I'm a director in EY Greece. And we have the pleasure to have together with us Mr. George Kouskos from European Reliance Insurance Company to share his insights about the IFRS 17 FPSL implementation that is taking place in European Reliance. So welcome, George, and thank you for being here with us. So we could go straight to our questions. And first one, why did you select SAP FPSL for IFRS 17 implementation?
Okay. Well, SAP was one of the first software companies to offer a holistic solution for the implementation of IFRS 17 and IFRS 9. When the FPSL solution was presented to us, we were excited to see the big advantages the solution had versus any other vendors. The most important advantage is the multi-GAAP functionality for IFRS 17, IFRS 9, Greek GAAP, or even Solvency II framework. This is practically one sub-ledger system to cover all of them. And if we add to the above the reliability and heavy experience of SAP Corporation, then we can actually say that the selection of SAP FPSL was for us a one-way street.
So, George, what are the benefits that you expect to gain from the SAP S/4HANA and the FPSL implementation?
Well, at first, with SAP S/4HANA software, we expect an improved performance, allowing us to plan, execute, and generate reports and analytics based on live data. In addition, we expect triggering period closing and provide improved predictions. Of course, we also expect an easy usage, cost effectiveness, and an overall simple transition from on-premise to cloud. In other words, we expect S/4HANA to give us the ability to establish a standardized, more simplistic platform, easy to use, but also with solvency and transparency. Regarding FPSL, we expect the solution to fully cover all of the aspects and the requirements of IFRS 17 and IFRS 9. This means a very fast and easy to use solution from the different stakeholders of the project, such as accountants, controllers, actuaries, business analysts, and IT experts. Of course, we expect multi-GAAP accounting to give us the advantage of gathering all the financial information and reports under one single platform, keeping track of the conventions from one GAAP to another. For day-to-day businesses, we expect our transactions to begin with operational and actuarial structures via the SAP leader and finishing with post to the general ledger, also with an ability to getting back into the details in the SAP ledger. Finally, as a listed company, we also expect the global known solution of SAP S/4HANA and FPSL to assure statutory auditors, supervisory authorities, shareholders, and stakeholders regarding the solvency and the proper data management of our financial statements and reports.
Thank you. And what were the phases or the sub-projects that you're running together?
Well, the management of our company decided the simultaneous installation of SAP S/4HANA and SAP FPSL softwares. Generally, the project consists of 3 sub-projects of an equal nature. First, the SAP S/4HANA implementation project, which deals with the setting up of SAP infrastructure, the design and test of SAP financial, procurement, controlling, and the deployment to the production. Second, the IFRS 17 and IFRS 9 consulting project, which deals with target operating model, technical specification, accounting disclosures, policies and manuals, actuarial models, management reporting, transition, comparatives, and dry run. And third, the FPSL implementation project, which deals with the data preparation, setting the approaches, ETL design for the transfer of actuarial and other productive data to FPSL, and automation of disclosures and reporting.
So, what combination of skills, people or even companies do you use for the project and the SAP FPSL implementation in general?
Well, IFRS 17 and IFRS 9 project brought together different professions inside the company under a new operating model. It's the first time that accountants, controllers, actuaries, and IT professionals will work close together, creating a chain interaction. In addition to the already high skills of our employees, we require the specialized knowledge from a well-respected and experienced consulting vendor. We found all the above features in EY Greece for both IFRS 17 and IFRS 9 consulting, and also SAP ERP and FPSL implementation. EY Greece is a leading service company with a long history in the implementation of new IFRSs, as well as in the installation of ERP system. Specifically, in Greece, EY has a long experience in the insurance industry with well-trained executives in actuarial science, as well as in finance and IT. Our previous excellent cooperation in the field of Solvency II and consulting on regulatory issues has led to the renewal of our cooperation and our confidence that such a large project will be achieved. EY consultants cooperate with our project team on a daily basis, transferring knowledge and best practices, assisting in critical decision issues.
So, what other application apart from S/4HANA and FPSL you see applicable to the insurance company?
Well, there are many other applications of SAP that would be useful in the insurance industry. Certainly, the SAP Business Planning and Consolidation software is a solution that we have chosen for implementation immediately after the implementation of SAP S/4HANA and SAP FPSL. SAP Business Planning and Consolidation is a complete tool for planning, budgeting, forecasting, and financial consolidation. Today, insurance businesses require a planning and consolidation model to overcome the challenges and the continuing changes. Business planning and consolidation is an efficient software that will give us access to trusted corporate data to optimize planning and consolidation processes. In addition, this software will help us align operation plans with corporate goals, initiatives, and metrics defined. This software will also leverage our operation and financial data to provide advanced overview and analytics of our business.
Thank you, George. And how do you plan to solve the issue of collecting data from your source systems?
Well, we have an in-house application for our core insurance operations. Our group IT has undertaken to collect data required for IFRS 17 implementation and provide to SAP FPSL for IFRS 17 calculations.
Thank you. Thank you, George, for the insights and the information provided.
It was a pleasure, Dimos.
Okay, so we can go next to Christian Knogler and Gratzer Wechselzeitgehversicherung. Thank you very much.
Right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Knogler. I'm with MSG Plaut, which is a member of the MSG Group. I'm a management board member at MSG Plaut and head of the insurance industry business in Austria and Central Eastern Europe. Today, I'm discussing IFRS 17 related project questions with Christiane Marie-Kinzer. And I'm happy to tell that MSG Plaut is supporting this implementation project. Christiane, would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, of course. Good morning to everyone. My name is Christiane Riedl-Kinzer. I'm head of accounting in Grave Group, which is an Austrian insurance group. And I'm also responsible at the moment for the implementation of IFRS 17 in the companies of our group.
Thank you very much. Shall we start with the first question? Then let's go. What were the main reasons for selecting SAP FPSL as your tool for IFRS 17?
That is a really good question. There were not many tools in the market, I think. And we had to think about which companies would be our benchmark for this selection, because we as Grave Group are not big enough to really develop such a tool. So we looked at our bigger companies in Austria, the Viennese companies that are listed. And as we heard that VIG and Unica would buy this FPSL tool, we decided to buy it too.
Very, very reasonable. My next question is, what are the main areas where you utilize external support and which areas do you manage in-house?
So the areas that we are really managing in-house is the whole data integration topic. We are sure that we best know our system landscape, our data landscape, and so we decided to manage this in-house. What we decided to not manage in-house, and where we are convinced that we need external support, is the whole customizing topic. So we rely on MSG for the customizing topic, and we are convinced that they are the best partners for us to really implement the standard in the system. So the technical implementation of the IFRS standard in FPSL will be managed by MSG.
Thank you very much. And I think you have a little support from KPMG on the IFRS.
Yes, of course. As far as the interpretation of the IFRS standard is concerned, we use KPMG.
Yeah, that's also very reasonable and understandable. What combination of skills in terms of people and companies are you utilizing for the SAP FPSL implementation? I mean, the companies, we already covered this, but the people, what combination of skills are you utilizing?
That's also a good question, but because even though the IFRS 17 standard is, of course, an accounting standard, you need different skills for the implementation of this very special standard. You need actuarial skills, you need accounting skills, and also, of course, IT skills. And we in Grave Group combine all these skills in our team, in our competence center, as we call it. And what is very important, I think, is that is the mutual understanding of the people with these basic skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I fully agree that it's an accounting standard. And from my point of view, accounting needs to be in the lead in this.
It is. In Grave Group, it is in the lead, but we really need those other skills, which are mainly actuarial, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming to my next question, what is your time frame for the implementation of FPSL in your company? Do you implement group-wide or only selected countries?
Maybe I start with the second questions.
Yeah.
We are implementing only selected countries because we are not a listed group and not forced to do our consolidation based on IFRS. So we are implementing selected countries that are affected locally by this standard. And these countries are in the southeastern region. It's, for example, Slovenia, Croatia. It's also Bulgaria, Romania. And so nearly all the EU countries in this region where we have our activities. So it's an implementation project on a solo basis, if you want, not on a group basis. The time frame, of course, is very short. It is given by the law because the standard will enter into force at the beginning of 2023. So the time frame, of course, is very short. We have 2 years. And I think the main workload will be done this year in 2021.
Yeah, very good. My next question is, how are you managing the issue of collecting data from source systems? Do you have a dedicated staging layer? Mm-hmm. Is it developed from scratch, or are you leveraging a system?
We decided very early in this project at the right beginning that we would not take the data directly from our source system where we run our insurance contracts. We are going to use our data warehouse where nearly all the data that we get from our insurance contract are already available. So we are not really starting from scratch as far as this data warehouse is concerned, but we are upgrading it, if you want, for the FPSL purpose. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think you're developing your own tool to prepare the data. So
especially as far as cash flows are concerned.
Yeah.
We are developing a tool where the cash flows that the FPSL tool needs are going to be prepared so that the calculations that will be done in FPSL will get the right input data.
Okay, very good. So please tell us something about the rollout approach at Grave. Is it a centralized approach or do you prefer delegation? Do you use a master template or an individual implementation?
Even though we are not going to consolidate on an IFRS basis, we have decided in our project to use a standardized, a centralized approach. So we are going to create a master template for our biggest company that is affected by the standard, which in our case is Croatia. So we will create a master template that will be rolled out to the other countries. The biggest challenge is to keep to a standard that we define here in Austria, which means that we have also to discuss this standard with auditors, with supervisory authorities and other stakeholders in the countries that we serve.
Okay. And when you say rollout to the countries, do you mean that you try to concentrate on a low level of changes in the countries?
Yes. So we are really, so we try to have very small part of changes in our project. So there will be a standard. We will roll out this standard to our subsidiaries in the countries, and we hope that the interpretation of the IFRS 17 standard will be accepted. That our interpretation will be accepted by the stakeholders in the country. Which means, as I said before, that we need a lot of discussions, that we are prepared for that, and we are expecting that.
Very good. So coming to my last question, what is the top implementation challenge that you faced so far?
The top implementation challenge is, I think that it is the very first project of this kind that we're facing. So for all of us, it's the very first time that we are implementing such a complicated standard. Yeah. The new tool, the standard is new. It is not even endorsed. It has to be interpreted for the first times. We have a very new tool, which is also under development, still under development. So there is not really an experience we can rely on. So we have to find our experience by ourselves. That is, I think, the big challenge. We all start from scratch. So
yeah,
yes,
that's true. Well, I'm happy to support you.
Thank you.
and try to get the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing your interesting insights and thoughts on your implementation project. I think this can help and inspire other FPSL users who are tackling similar challenges. Mm-hmm. Christiane, do you want to close our interview with a final statement to all the other FPSL users out there?
Even if the project is a big challenge, as we said before, it is interesting. It is a very interesting experience, I think, for an accountant, because we accountants, we have to work together with such interesting people like actuaries, like IT specialists. It's a very, very interesting challenge. And we have to face this challenge. We will do it, and I think we will manage it. I'm very positive as far as this is concerned.
I'm pretty sure. And as you said, it's really exciting seeing large parts of the world doing this at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's an experience that not everyone can share during his professional life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining today and discussing these questions with me. All my best for you and to the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, colleagues. Obviously, a very special and huge thanks to our special today's guests. So, dear participants, we believe it was interesting for you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us via chat box or directly. We are ready and happy to discuss with you all your questions or doubts. Don't forget to register for next webinar. We are leaving IFRS 17 topic and moving to accounting. Again, all the best in the new year. Stay safe and hope you will join us in February. Bye-bye.